Hello, interpreting students. My name is Jorlyn. I'm sure I've met all of you at some point, but if not, nice to meet you again. I just realized this shirt is not interpreter friendly, so don't dress like this. I was just going to make a video to kind of explain to everybody who is helping with the Children of a Lesser God show, whether that be the front of the house or backstage or whatever. I just wanted to get everybody on the same page with everything. And I know it's been kind of crazy whenever you've been at my rehearsals. I've been half directing, half teaching sign to everybody, and it's been crazy. So this is just kind of a moment for you and I to settle down and just go over the things that are expected of y'all, and then kind of how the things are going to go when it comes showtime. Maureen has basically given me free reign. She's like, these are the students that are available to volunteer. Use them however we need to. So first of all, thank you all so much for helping out with the show. We literally could not have done this without you. And I was really counting on y'all when I was getting all this started about a year ago. I was like, I really hope the TCC students can help. So thank you. I have a lot of notes. I have them written down on my computer. That's why I keep looking over here, of all the things that I feel I need to let you guys know of and make you aware of. Please know that if you have any questions at the end of this video, FaceTime me or email or text or whatever you need to do. I'll put my contact information in there directly. And I will be going through everything. So let me just get right to it. Some of y'all are helping backstage, some of y'all are helping at the snacks and the bar area. Some of y'all will be helping like as ushers, kind of like you help people go to their seats if they need it, or if there's questions about where's the bathroom, or my ticket is not showing up in my email, like all these things. So you will be interpreting mainly. We are still waiting on volunteers to volunteer for the actual box office, like hearing people outside of everything. So the people who are posted there, the will call or the box office, will be like side by side, and you will be interpreting for this person for any of the deaf audience members that come up to check in or to get their tickets. However, some of it you might be doing a little bit more than interpreting. It is kind of a service learning approach versus an actual interpreting assignment. So you might have to, actually check off some names or take someone to Jennifer if they have a question or something. So it's not just, I'm just interpreting, we kind of need you all hands on deck and just make sure we get the people in and out smoothly. So regarding that, there is a title called a floater. So if you see that on the document that I'm going to send you in this email, floater means literally you're a person that can sign and speak, and you can float anywhere people are needed. So we're really trying to cover all of our bases with our deaf patrons that are coming in, as well as the hearing people, obviously. But specifically, we want to make this accessible to them. And so if someone can't find their confirmation email, if they're not on the list, if they used someone's comp ticket from an actor and their name's not there, or they said, well, Jennifer said I could come, all these things. Jennifer is the co-director with me and also the producer of Sweet Apple Productions that here at Stage West. And so all of those things, all are questions that you might not have the answer to, and that's great. So the floater can help go and get that person and be like, hey, this person has a question, we need an answer. So you're floating around, you're interpreting. If there's any people that you see that need help with any kind of assistance, literally just jump in wherever you see it. Time to put on our extroverted hats. I hope you have them. So that's kind of what floaters are. The box office or the front of house or usher or will call, whatever all those terms mean to you, will probably be someone just sitting down at the front when people come in and they're like, I'm here to see the show. And so all of that, what that means is there's a big spreadsheet that's going to be printed out with everybody's names listed on them. And so when they'll come up and say, my name is Jane Doe, and so if they're signing that, just voice it, interpret it for the hearing volunteer, or if the hearing volunteer is talking with someone else, feel free to sit there and take their information via sign and check off their name and let them go. Like, you can do that. You don't have to, I'm just interpreting. Like, you can help speed the process along, especially if there's like a long line or something. So there will be the spreadsheet with the person's name and then their seat number. I need to confirm with exactly how we're telling them to give us to go to their seats, because we don't have an actual ticket stub. Those are actually extremely expensive to print. So we're just basically going to write down their ticket, their seat number, like D4 on a little bitty thing, and just hand it to them. They know where to go. Or they can have their seat number pulled up on their phone on their receipt, their email receipt. That would be easier, so we don't have to write it down. They can see it. But again, not everyone has that or thinks to have that pulled up when they walk in the door. So we will be telling them where their seats are and checking their names off once they've checked in. And again, if there's any issues with that, find someone else with more authority than you that can take care of that. So we'll have somebody there. Let's see. So for the most part, that's the beginning, the front of the house, how all of that works. So those of you that are not helping backstage, get there like a few minutes early. The actors are called at 6. The actors and the backstage interpreters are called at 6 for the shows. And then it is, I think it's 6 or 6:30 actually. Don't quote me on that. I'm going to type it up in an email and send it all with this video. So you'll be called a little bit early. So whatever your call time is, just get there a little bit before that so we can kind of get everything set up. There will be a Thursday show, Thursday night, Friday night, 2 on Saturday, and then 1 on Sunday. So 5 shows total. Please, once you see this video and this email, double check the little words, the graph that I have made with the time and the date, the position that you're there for, and the name of the interpreters, y'all, and make sure that everything matches and it's the same as you have written down. Because I don't want anybody to miss, or for me to have written down the name in the wrong spot and you're like, I'm actually not available that day. So double check that, and please let me know if there's any changes. Just send that back to me. Let's see, and we can, I'm pretty sure we can buy tickets at the door. I need to double check that with the director, but you might be helping with the transaction of payment there, depending on if people are purchasing at the door. So we'll let you know for sure on that. Let's see. So typically it'll be, you have to, and not that y'all have to do a lot of this, but it will be the person who bought the tickets. It's their name because that matches the credit card statement that they used. So it could be, say Rebecca bought a ticket for her third cousin. And so the third cousin gives you the name and you're like, well, that don't have that name. Well, who bought the ticket? Oh, Rebecca bought it. Okay, so let's check her name off. Something like that. That's kind of how it's going to look like. Some of them will have a text on their phone. This is necklace, sorry. Some of them will have a text on their phone, and that means that they were manually entered. So it could be an actor's comp ticket, or someone paid Jennifer through a family discount or something, and she wrote their names in, so they can have a text confirmation as well. So sometimes that works. And if someone is making a big deal about it, and they're like, I bought a ticket, I talked with Jennifer, some issues are happening, just take their word for it. We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt, and make a note, and we'll make sure that they get in, because we want everybody to see the show. Also, you need to know where the bathrooms are. So when you get there, kind of walk around, get your bearings. So if people ask you questions, you know how to direct them. There are several rooms or theaters within Stage West. I don't know if you've ever been there. So when you walk in the door, to the right will be the little box office area, and then straight back should be the theater that we will be at. There will be one off to your right and another area over here. So it can be a little bit confusing. So when you get there, make sure you find all of us children of a lesser God people and designate in your mind which room so you know where to tell people to go. Okay, so that goes for all the people at the front of the house. Let's see, the backstage crew interpreters. So there is a spreadsheet that our stage manager, Chrissy, has made, and it's very detailed. It is the entire cast's cues, not just our deaf actors. So you'll have to overlook some of those, but Chrissy did color coordinate just our deaf actors for that. So when you see the color pink, that's Rebecca. When you see blue, that's Day Day or Day Day here. And when you see green, like a light green, that's Margaret. And these are all their name signs, Margaret. And then the red color is the stage manager, Chrissy. This is her name sign, Chrissy. She's hearing, but she will need an interpreter sitting next to her or following her around to tell our deaf actors things. So most of that one will be hands up, and then the other, when you're with your deaf people, will probably be more voicing. I don't expect there to be a lot of interpreting backstage. The main reason we need you is for the cues, which I will get to that in a second. So when you look at that spreadsheet, you will see the color coordinated. You will look at which deaf person you are interpreting for or shadowing that night. I tried to keep it as consistent as possible, but based on your availabilities, sometimes that might have to change. I believe that Kathy is Rebecca's interpreter the whole way through because she was available every single night, and so we've got that pairing. I believe we have a couple others that might change a little bit, so just look at the little graph that I made and make sure that you know which your deaf person is based on the color, and that's color coordinated as well, so you'll know who you're interpreting for that night. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah, so just within Christy's big spreadsheet that she made of the entire show's cue, every single entrance and exit, she did type in the names of some of the student interpreters. Like she might say Cheney, tell Day Day, on this line that it's his cue. So just know that Cheney's not going to be there every single night. So look at the color coordination. So if you're scheduled to be with Day Day that night, then take out the name Cheney in your head and put yourself there. Basically just knowing that Cheney is not going to be there, but this is representing the interpreter on the big master cue sheet. So keep that in mind. I would recommend that you print this sheet out for yourself. If you can print in color, that'd be great because it does color coordinate. It would be easier for your visual mind if you're like me. But if not, you don't have to have the colors. I would just go in and like highlight all of your deaf person's cues because we cannot afford to mess that up. So like, I know this is a huge responsibility for y'all, but our deaf actors, they can't see the stage, so they can't see the signs that are happening, and they can't hear them either. So they're literally blind behind that curtain, and it is completely up to you to tell them when to enter and exit. Now, if they're on stage already, they can see their cues. They've got stuff established. They have signs that they know, okay, mine's after this sign. So on stage, it's fine. But backstage, there are several auditory cues that we are completely relying on you for. And know that Christy, the stage manager, she will probably be like watching everybody and like, okay, tell Rebecca that, you know, hers is coming up next. So she'll be there to kind of communicate, but it is also your responsibility to follow that cue sheet, listen to everything you hear on stage, and let her know when it's her turn, or him, whoever it is. There will be TV monitors in the dressing room, so you can see what's happening on stage. Typically, they have a little bit of a lag time, like a few seconds, so just be watching it, know where you are in the script, and I will give you a copy of the script. I will send you a PDF version of it. The PDF version that we had before, the page numbers didn't match, so we've scanned the new ones, and we will follow what's called the Blue Book, which is the script that everybody has printed. We just don't have enough to give all the interpreters. So you can have that on your phone, or if you want, you can print it, but you don't have to. Even your deaf person might let you have their script, you know, to help them out if they want. So you just have an understanding of that. But I would highly recommend, especially if you haven't been here for the shows with us and the runs, to read the script, to know the context of the story, to know kind of roughly the order of what things are happening, so you can have a general idea of where we are. If you've seen it and you've been here, I'm sure you're going to be fine. But that would be a recommendation, is to print it and read it and just have a general idea of what's going on. And again, remember that every single cue on that big master cue spreadsheet is for everybody. So just focus on your deaf person. And then within the focused deaf person, there will also be some that are on stage and some that are auditory cues. So get with your deaf person and kind of maybe talk with them beforehand, not when they're stressed and doing hair and makeup and running around. Like, try to do it before, or even send them an email. If you need their contact information, let me know, or a text to be like, hey, I'm your interpreter. Let's sit down, have a minute, just discuss what do you want from me, what do you don't want from me, what are your needs, where can I best help you. Do all of that. It's kind of on you because I don't have time to do all that for all of y'all. So we'll work on that. The name signs in the show, I think most of you know or have been here, but if you have not, Ryan, this is his actual name sign, Ryan, but he's playing the character of Leeds, James Leeds. And then we have Sarah, which is actually Rebecca. So Rebecca Covington is playing the role of Sarah. Just in case you need to know who's who backstage and they're talking about, like, where's this? You're like, who is this? And then Day or Day, I don't know how he does it, Day, Damond, is playing the character of Oren. That's with an O, Oren. Our other deaf actress is Margaret, with an M, Margaret. She's playing the role of Lydia. Lydia is her name sign. And then we have Chrissy. If they're asking for help from Jennifer, with a D, Jennifer. And then I'm Jorlyn, so if you see this name sign, they need me. Lacey is our prop manager person. I don't know if y'all know her. Lacey. So it's flower, and then like you're throwing the lay around her. So she's deaf as well. She'll be helping with backstage. You probably shouldn't have to interact with her as much, but just in case something happens. Also, feel free to help interpret for anybody backstage that needs anything. You don't have to be like, oh, I'm only for, Margaret. You can definitely help out with anybody that needs communication. However, especially during the run of the show, once the curtains have opened and the show has started, please, please, please do not leave your deaf person. So the thing I'm trying to avoid is I'm just going to pick on Kathy. I love you, Kathy. I don't want Kathy to see someone, oh, Lacey needs me to interpret, so she leaves Rebecca, and then we're waiting for Rebecca's cue, and she doesn't hear it because Kathy's over there interpreting for something else. So we're trying to avoid that. So it will feel awkward, and it will feel like you're kind of up in their face, but literally just follow your deaf person around backstage. Curtains, left to right curtain. There'll be a curtain behind the show or the stage. You can follow them around. If they're staying stage left, you stay with them. If they stay stage left, they go onto the stage, and you're like, how do I find them afterwards? Look at the monitor, or even talk with them, be like, where do you exit here? Okay, I'll meet you over there. Because we literally just want them there the whole time in case anything goes crazy, and we need to know exactly that they have communication access wherever they are. Obviously, do not follow them on stage, but follow them everywhere else. And stay with them. If you can break away and interpret a little bit right over here for another something that's going on, that's great. But your focus is on that deaf person and their cues and the smoothness of the show, because we cannot do this without you. So now that that's been explained, that's kind of what we expect to happen backstage. Also, our stage manager has discussed with our deaf actors the cue to let them know, hey, it's actually like the line you're supposed to go on right now. Like, let's go. This is your cue. It's 2 taps on the shoulder. And I think the goal was to do it on their left shoulder. Don't let that stress you out. But I just don't want it to be like 1 tap and they're like, what are you doing? You know, it needs to be a clearly distinct 2 taps means like, go now. This is your line. Take care of it. So because of that, I know we're very touchy in the deaf community to get people's attention. So don't miscue someone. Don't, be like, hey, where's the restroom? Because they're going to be like, oh, it's go time. So that's just something to put in the back of your mind there. So 2 taps is the actual cue. Also, I would rather you over-interpret. So if you're deaf person standing off in the wings, they know the script. They know what's coming on. So if you're hearing things, go ahead and interpret the last few lines leading up to theirs before you give them that cue, so they kind of know where we are, because they're literally blind back there. They can't see or hear anything that's happening. So anytime you're around them, even if they're doing a quick change or getting dressed or they're sitting down eating, like, interpret everything that's on stage that you can hear, just to give them an idea of where they're at in the show. Let me check my list here. So yeah, Chrissy should be helping cue the actors. They'll be like, hey, Day, your scene's coming up. But she's also in charge of 1,000 other things right there. She's got a headset. She's doing other things. So make sure you're on top of it as well. But if she tends to interrupt and get ready, be like, yes, thank you, and just kind of go with it. Let's see, they have audio, curtain back and forth. Stage left and stage right. It's confusing. If you're not a theater person, you might have no idea what that is. So typically we've been doing SL, stage left, or SR, stage right, because from the stage perspective, if I'm standing on stage and the audience is out here, this is stage right. It's actually my right as an actor. It's actor's perspective. This would be left. However, when you're backstage, it gets kind of confusing and everything. So instead of trying to guess, be like stage right, where am I standing? What's the perspective? Just do stage left, stage right. Help them out with that. Or the other things you might see on the big master cue sheet are like CS, center stage, or DS, downstage. Same thing, like down stage left or up stage right. Those are all acronyms. You shouldn't have to deal with those very much, because the actors know where they're supposed to go. You're just there to let them know when to go. But just in case you see that and you're like, what do these letters mean? Or if someone asks you, like, where's Rebecca? Oh, she's, on stage right now or something. You have that terminology to use for your benefit there. Same with the spreadsheet. You might see more theater terms like the I and the O. So if you look at the top of the spreadsheet there, it'll say in and out. That's the entrances. It's technically an E, but she's using the word I and it's fine. And exits. So that you should be able to know, my deaf person is entering stage left on this line, and then they're exiting the O out on, downstage right on this line. Like, so it should be clear, every entrance and exit, but I want to give you those words so you know how to interpret that crazy spreadsheet. Also on the spreadsheet, it's using Excel, and so there'll be 2 tabs at the bottom. There's Act 1 and Act 2. So just remember to click both of those so you can see or print both. So it's not just one page. It will be Act 1 and Act 2. There's also another one, a curtain call. You don't need to print that one. It's not regarding you at all. Also, before I forget, if possible, could you, but we're hoping that the students can stay a little bit after the show as well, because the actors might want to come up and talk to our deaf, or the actors might want to talk with the audience, and some of them might be hearing. Some of the hearing people might want to come up and ask the deaf person questions or anything like that. So stay with your deaf person, even though the curtain has ended and the show's over. Like, stay with them afterwards, especially if there's any like post-show instructions or anything like that. And if you're able to stay longer, that would be great to kind of hang out a little bit after. If there's anybody that wants to talk with them, it's kind of part of the assignment or service learning part. But if you have to leave, I understand. I'm sure there will be plenty of people there that we can pull in to help out with that. But that would be greatly appreciated if you could plan on staying a little bit afterwards. Also, try to stay off your phones or electronics behind the curtain backstage. Anything could happen as far as sound, or they could be distracting. I don't want you to get a text and then, our actor missed a cue, because that could really just throw off the show completely. So try to keep those as put away as possible. I know we're all adults and we have life and things that go on, but in the show, that's a really big priority, is to just 100% focus on exactly what my deaf person needs. Also, don't touch the props or help with the costumes if possible, just because everyone that, even if you see like a scarf on the floor, leave it, because someone might have it there, or they might have dropped it on their way by, but they made a mental note, okay, I dropped the scarf here, I'm going to come back and get it. Because if you start picking up things and cleaning up, it's nice and we appreciate it. However, it really messes up the theater world, because everything is in a certain place. Same with the actors will preset their costumes. They might have a coat hanging somewhere backstage. Don't touch it, because they know exactly where it is. Now, if an actor looks at you and says, hey, do you mind giving me that paper, or if they're stuck with their costume, maybe their jackets, the sleeve is stuck, and they're like, help me, you can help, be a human, help with things, but just don't move things because you think they need to go somewhere, because that can really mess up things. And just be aware that I might have to, before or after the show, I'm like, hey, I need you to come over here, and I'll put you here with this person because I can't handle whatever it is in that moment. So just be flexible, please, and let us know that we're going to use you to the maximum ability that we can and give you a great experience. Hopefully you enjoy it and have fun, but there might be some flexibility. And unless someone tells you, in the middle of a show, hey, come interpret for this, I'd be like, Dorlan told me to stay with my deaf person because that is my priority. So if that happens, do what you can, but don't let that person out of your sight so we don't miss any cues. Also, Teresa, this is name sign Teresa. Most of y'all know her. She is one of the interpreters in the actual show, on stage with our actors. She will be your point of contact for the majority of things. I will for sure be at 2 of the shows, 2 of the 5, possibly more, but once the directors open the show, we're kind of done. So we're not there all the time, all hands on deck. It's kind of our time to sit back and watch it or help take care of other things. I'm also in another show, so I've got rehearsals for that. So just know that if you need something, feel free to text me. But in the moment there at the show, Teresa can help anything that you need. If you see me there and I happen to be there, sure, I'll help you take care of whatever. But just know that I won't be at every single show. So Teresa will be your next certified interpreter to get in contact with for anything. The call sheet. So a lot of times the stage manager will post a call sheet, and you'll have to come sign your name to say that you were here. We are including the interpreters on that just so we know everyone's checked in and we're okay, we've got all the people that we need, versus, has anyone seen Cheney? We're looking for her, but she's been here for an hour, but no one's seen it. So we just need to know that everybody's here. So feel free to partake in that and sign in, if that's something that Chrissy implements, which I think she will. Let's see, did that one. We will have an intermission in the show halfway through, so you can go to the bathroom, get a snack, whatever you need to during that time. Let's see, the show runs about 3 hours is kind of what we're guessing right now. It's still hard to plan for that exactly. We'll see once we get more further into our dress rehearsal and our runs. Also, if you are not scheduled to interpret, if you're one of our backstage interpreters and you're not able to come or aren't on the schedule to rehearse anymore, we have 2 or 3 more rehearsals. You can come and practice your cues, your route with your deaf person during the runs if you want. We would appreciate that. You don't have to, and some of you are already there, and that's great. But if you're I haven't even seen the show yet, and I really would like to, practice something, please come and sit and watch it, get an idea for it, or come and practice your track, which we call track as the path of the whole show with your deaf person. That's definitely an option. We will be implementing the interpreters following the track around as soon as possible, starting for today's rehearsal. Let's see. So as nice as I can be, do what you need to do and interpret, but stay out of the way. There are lots of traffic and shows. We're running around everywhere. The backstage might be tight, might be crazy. So just help us out, but try to be aware of your surroundings and don't get in anybody's way for quick changes. There's a lot going on that has to happen fast. So just kind of be aware of that. Let's see. So I just clicked the wrong button. Sorry. Yeah, so like I said earlier, there are some cues that are auditory based, and some that are more visual based. So just provide as much context and access to everything possible that you can. Also, especially with our actress Margaret, her CI batteries, her cochlear implant batteries die often. They're kind of old, so be prepared to help her a little bit more if needed. Right now, she's pretty independent, and she can hear a little bit, and so she tends to not look at the interpreter a lot. We're just there for extra support, which is great, but still don't stop giving her as much support as a completely profoundly deaf person, just so she has that. But she might not completely use you all the time, but be prepared for hearing aids or implant batteries to die, and then she's like, I'm lost, so even though it looks like she understands more without you, just go ahead and give all of that. Let's see, I already said this. Double check the chart to make sure that all of the things are correct on here. Be familiar with the show. Okay, I will send you the address of the theater as well. It's at Sage West in downtown Fort Worth. You can probably Google it, but I'll attach that to the email. And I'm about to send you an email with all the documents and everything. I know this video was a lot, but thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. It is needed because I wanted to have this face-to-face as best we can and go over everything that I couldn't type out in an email. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and let me know if you have any questions. Please just send me back. You can reply to me. You don't have to reply all and blow up everybody's email, but please respond to me when you finish watching this video and let me know that you've got it. Also, let me know if there's any questions or anything that I can help support you. Thank you so much for all of your support and volunteering and everything you're doing for the show. We are very, very grateful and wanted to make that known. So yeah, that's all I have to say unless I can think of anything else, and I will see you guys soon. Tech Week starts like today, so Tech Week is the last few little bits, and hopefully we can get all this worked out, but we really appreciate it. Thanks.